tribulations, my heart, my balls, my somebody stop me, somebody come and get me. Little did I know that the Lord was riding with me. The law, the light, my heart, the fight, the wrong, the right is gone.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review. Today, we are bringing you the sequel to, you can almost call it, it took on a cult-like classic following, even though the movie wasn't that good, but it really took on that following for having a very weird, campy, twisty type of ending to it. And then, years later, we get a sequel that possibly should have never been made. And the movie we're talking about is Orphan First Kill. Here is the quick synopsis. After escaping from a psychiatric facility, Esther travels to America by impersonating a missing daughter of a wealthy family. Yet, an unexpected twist arises that pits her against a mother who will protect her family at all costs. This one is directed by William Bell, stars, again, as the first one did, Isabelle Fuhrman, and Julia, Save the Last Dance Stiles, who plays the mother in this one. First thoughts is very simple here. This movie is creepy. Not creepy in a scary way. It is creepy because the de-aging process they used for Miss Fuhrman to make her look like the kid she was in the first movie, it is freaky. It is freaky on a level that is not good to anybody. It kind of reminded me of, and I know this is a horrible comparison for some people, but Dear Evan Hansen, when they attempted to do the exact same thing and he just looked like a creepy old person trying to play a teenager. Here Isabella looks like a creepy old person attempting to play a kid who happens to also be an adult because of a disease of dwarfism. It's a lot, and she just looks awful and creepy. And the setup shots for her are really bad, as everything is just, let's shoot her straightforward, face up, so we can de-age her, and then when we need to see her in a kid body, we're going to shoot her from behind so you can see this disparity and show that that's a kid body, even though at one point in time in a film, we see the kid body and we see her head turns around, and it is just horrible. So, the de-aging is really, really bad in this movie. Also, as I said before, the first Orphan was not like a great movie. It was just really campy. The premise is extremely silly, and the ending had a good twist to it. Because you're going into Orphan First Kill, you already know with the big surprise, the big twist that got everybody like excited about the first movie. When that's no longer a secret, you instead get left with a ripoff of Child's Play. This movie feels like a Chucky doll is going around dressed up as a girl, Russian orphan, and he's killing people. That's how this movie comes across. But I digress. Go to the beginning. We see Esther, and they call her real name at the beginning of this movie, which we found out at the end of Orphan what her real name was. We see her in this facility, and she's the most dangerous person in the facility. Why is someone that small the most dangerous person in the facility? We never know. We just are told this, and we have to go along with it. Then mayhem ensues as she just murders her way out of the facility somehow, some way. Again, being this small, but yet displaying strength that should not be possible at her height. It is this movie, and I'm trying to be objective. This movie is absurd. It is silly. It is campy, and none of it in a good way. The first Orphan had all of those same elements, but it just felt like we were in on the joke. Here, it feels like they want to take it more serious than the joke should be taken, and in turn, they turn moments that maybe should bring horror, thrills, into a comedy. This feels like a sad, sad comedy. As Esther impersonates this missing American girl. That's where we meet Julia Stiles, her husband, her son, and then magically, Esther looks just like their daughter. She comes back to America, and this is where just the insanity of this movie kicks in a high gear as they meet their daughter again. No questions are asked about, hey, let's make sure this is our kid. None of that is brought up here. Not only that, your kid comes back with a Russian accent, and no one really bats a true eye at it. It is horrible the way they have the characters just go with this ridiculous premise instead of possibly leaning into it the way that some of the Child's Play sequels leaned into the whole thought of a killer dog going around, and it felt like the audience was in on a joke. Here, it just feels too serious for this silly premise, and unfortunately, it never works. I was turned off maybe 10 minutes into this film. By the 30-minute mark, I was completely bored with this movie. It is just too silly. Nothing works here. I am seriously, besides the point that the first Orphan was a surprise kind of hit, a little bit much. And again, it took on a cult following of people really, really enjoying this movie. Isabelle Fuhrman was amazing in the first Orphan. And because she was so good, it made us not think too much that the movie wasn't good. Here, her and Julia Stiles attempts to do their best to make you love this movie. And in no point in time do you. It's just, none of this makes sense. It's just too silly. And unfortunately, because we know the story of the Orphan from the first film, we kind of know where this story is going to end, which is a horrible setup. And that's not just a problem with the Orphan. That tends to be a problem with a lot of prequels when you set up things and we kind of know where you're going to have to go at. But here, there's no surprises going there. It's just so straightforward. And again, it's so self-serious when it shouldn't be. Instead, this should have been straight a horror comedy and let the audience completely in on a joke. And I think it would have worked better instead of the seriousness that we got in this movie. But again, I will give it up. Julia Stiles, Isabelle Fuhrman, their performances are good. Isabelle Fuhrman, I just don't know why she did this movie. I don't even know why they just didn't recast an actual kid to do this movie. It is too creepy to see her face look like it's supposed to be de-aged, but her still look like an adult. It is very creepy here. But Orphan First Kill, it is currently in theaters and streaming on Paramount Plus. So you can sit at home and watch this, or you can go to the theaters and watch it. Whatever experience you want to get with this type of film. Out of a possible 10, I am going to give Orphan First Kill 2.5 out of 10. And there's not much else I can say about it. It is silly when it shouldn't be. It is a comedy and it shouldn't be. It is one of the creepiest things I've ever seen with de-aging. Absolutely creepy with Isabelle Fuhrman, what they do with her with the de-aging thing here. But again, if you're looking for something, a vehicle that maybe you can remember Julia Stiles in, maybe this movie works. But again, even her character takes a twist that is just so ridiculous. That's the best word to describe this movie. It's ridiculous. But check it out. Let us know what you think about it. This has been another JVS movie review. Peace, people.